Mauli,
Yes, please.
St. James. These are the schools that we have presently. And on behalf of the planning committee for the GIS Day 2021 quiz, I welcome each and every one of you to today's competition. Professor Berman has already indicated a number of rules of engagement. May I also reiterate the fact that this is an institution you are trying to build, trying to create in you the taste and the desire to acquire a lot more knowledge and confidence in geography. And so, as much as possible, we try to do away with all sort of fraud and cheating or practices. We have seen feedback from the WhatsApp platform that we join, and we try to make today's experience a much better experience for all of us. I must say that we do not have any vested interest in helping or not helping one candidate or one school against the other. Our job is to create a platform to put your best foot forward. And so, on that note, wish every participating school the best. Right now, I have St. James Seminary, I have Mauli School, and I have Oda Senior High School. These are the three. And as I did indicate yesterday, if it's not your time to speak, kindly mute yourself. So St. James Seminary, as much as possible, mute yourselves. Once I ask a question, and that'll be when you'd unmute. And then give St. James, your microphone is still on. I can see from my end, so mute it. Right, great. I think now it's muted. Thanks so much.
I think they have not filled the anti-cheating form.
Okay.
So the system cannot monitor them.
Okay, for all the schools.
Yes, so I've sent a link to the same email that they got this link. I've sent a link to them.
Okay, so let me also add that we are trying to place in some automated mechanism to help us monitor objectively your performance and your concentration towards the quiz. And so in that regard, we've sent a form by email to all the tutors who are helping the candidates to prepare, that they should go in right now into their emails, check to see there is a form that you need to fill so that your school will be added to a system that would automatically track your movement. We observed yesterday that unfortunately, in some institutions, we had teachers whispering answers to the students. And so students were not actually focusing on the camera, but they were looking beyond the camera. And so now we have an inbuilt app that will detect. Of course, among the participants, you are allowed to discuss before you come up with that solution that you have, that answer that you have. That's allowed. But if the system detects that you're looking beyond the camera or you're looking elsewhere, left, right, away from the camera, the system will detect. And so that is something we need for you to sign on. So it goes to all the teachers. So far, I'm not sure how many of the schools have signed, so that we can see you. Once you sign on. The system here in our office can actually track to see. So we need for you to do that for us. Do you have any indication as to which schools have signed up? So now,
Have you seen any school sign?
Yes.
okay, but so
Have they? Those people, I'm not sure they signed. They signed it.
yeah. So for St. James Seminary, for Mauli, Oda, and I think Boso is also joining us. Kindly sign. There's an email just sent to you. Sign that consent form so that we can monitor your students remotely. And so that goes to all of us. Let us ensure the integrity of this exercise. We are trying to build in our students that integrity. I know it can be painful to see your students not doing well, but I think you do well not only for today, but to look into the future. If indeed we are going to create people of integrity, if you are training for Ghana, people who would be true to their word, they're not going to, teach them the art of criminality. So please, as much as possible, let's be honest to ourselves whilst we use the systems to monitor from our end. We've sent an email, and we need for you to go the teachers to go and grant us permission so we can track and monitor your students on the screen. Is that something that is being done now? Can I get feedback from my production team? None of them have signed up. So what do we do?
Can they acknowledge even if they've seen the email at all?
Okay, sure. Let me see. So St. James Seminary, the tutor, can you acknowledge that you've just received an email from us? St. James Seminary, can you please unmute and acknowledge that you've not received the email?
I just went into my, not yet.
Not
I
yet.
went into my mail, but there's nothing in the inbox, sir. Yes.
Way in the morning.
Oh, it was sent earlier in the morning. What's the subject line?
The app name is QGo.
So the app name is QGo. So yes, perhaps it might even be in your spam folder. So can you check QGo? So QGo. So can you check that? Mauli, please can you confirm the tutors? Please can you confirm that you've seen that email? We need your consent so we can track objectively. And so kindly also inform your students to only look into the camera or speak to themselves if they need to, share ideas together. But if the camera detects that you're looking above the camera or you
please, the issue is that the teacher
outside of view, then that would be an infraction. And I think the system would give you some score. Based on the score, we are looking for some averages. Based on the score, we may disqualify you from the competition. So please, let's all maintain that integrity in today's work. It's for our own good. Oda, please, can you confirm that you've seen that email?
No, we haven't.
Have you checked your spam folder, please?
Yes, it's not here. I'm contacting its available directly.
Okay. Boso, please, can you confirm that you've received the email?
Yeah.
Sorry? So Mauli was yet to receive the email. Boso, madam, please, can you confirm that you received the email from us?
I've sent the link to you. So maybe they give us another request. The sign-in.
Yeah, the sign-in. Okay, so yeah, Boso also claim they haven't received the email.
Yeah, you can send it. So I sent it to them SMS, so they have it.
Okay, so we've sent it also as SMS. We've sent it as SMS. So can I check your phones? We've sent you text messages now with the link. We need for you to do this in NS so that we can start. So can I check your phones as well? We need for you to consent so that we can remotely track your students to see their facial expressions. The system has been designed such that it can track all forms of assistance beyond what the students are supposed to do. And so please, let's do that, is to enhance the integrity of the exercise. And it's based on the feedback we received from you yesterday. And so we want to do it and do it right. Kindly support us in this regard. We need to also assist each other in that regard. So can you confirm that you received the text messages now? Is it sent? St. James Seminary, can you confirm that you received the text message? Oda Senior High, Boso, can you confirm that you received?
No, not yet. Please, can it be sent to the WhatsApp platform?
Can you send to the WhatsApp platform?
Come again.
Francis?
I think Oda, we have.
Okay, yes, so it's now on the WhatsApp platform. It's now on the WhatsApp platform. Kindly check and make sure that you have signed on with your, I think the institution name. Sorry? Yes, use your Gmail account to sign on. Use the same laptop that the students are using.
That's what I sent you their email.
So you need to sign on with your Gmail account, sign on with the same machine or laptop you're using for the work. So what that means is that if it is on your phone, then you need to somehow get it onto the laptop so that you can use it to sign on. It's an app that monitors every activity on your screen. No, but we've called them. All right. So I understand from the technicians that given the fact that you couldn't receive the emails on time, we should proceed with the competition itself. But as we've said, we are having a team to stand by and monitor to ensure that we are having an honest conversation, an honest quiz today. Okay, so
Come, you not take the call.
all right, so at this stage, I'll ask the tutors to kindly allow the candidates to sit so we can start. I see other SHS. The is still trying to set the system up, but please let's forget about the email now. It appears that will delay much of the proceedings for today. So please let us start the quiz. So please, the teachers should now allow the candidates to sit yes and then face the camera head on. Thanks so much. So Bosso Senior High, please, I ask that.
Is the background okay?
Sorry, Oda, can you come again?
Is the background okay?
Oh yes, that's okay. Yes, that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So at this stage, I think we can start. I'll give you questions from human geography, physical geography, GIS, and map work. And so, okay, sure, thank you. But Opohuare hasn't signed up yet, so go. Sure. Right. So you have 20 seconds per question. There are some, for instance, that would demand that you calculate. For instance, the map work. Because in that case, I have the singular, prerogative to add some few additional time to it, such that those who are doing the calculations will have time to do that for us. But for the next set of questions, you have 20 seconds within which to give an answer. And I think within that 20 seconds, think through, reflect through, and give one answer at a time. I only take one answer. You don't have the opportunity to second guess or give a different response. So take your time, reflect through before you respond. And so if we're all together and any correctly responded answer will fetch you 3 marks or 3 points. So if you are ready, then we'll start with Mauli. Unfortunately, Mauli dropped off. So I think they'll join again, they'll rejoin. So then I move to St. James Seminary. This question goes to you. And I'm going to ask for the capital city of this particular country. So once I mention the country, you can discuss amongst yourselves within 20 seconds, and you tell me only one response. So what is the capital town? And this goes to St. James Seminary. What is the capital town for Afghanistan? Time starts now. Yes, your time goes. You're still within regulation time. Your time is up. The capital city of Afghanistan is Kabul. Quite recently, when the Americans were doing the evacuation, they were the topic of town. Everywhere, every media that you watched, you find distressed, very scared people trying to flee from the Hamid Karzai International Airport in Kabul. And this was in the media. So St. James, unfortunately, couldn't get that one for us. So we go to Mauli Senior High. You just rejoined. Welcome back. Mauli Senior High. If you're here with us, Mauli Senior High. This is your question, and we are looking for the capital town of Argentina. Argentina. You have 20 seconds to reflect and give me an answer. Buenos Aires. That's correct. That's correct. For 3 points. Mauli School. Then we come to the next in contention is Boso Senior High. Boso Senior High. This is your question. The capital town for Australia. And it goes to Boso. Canberra is correct for 3 points. Canberra is correct for 3 points. The next school is Oda Senior High. If you're here with me, Oda Senior High. And I'm looking for the capital city of Vienna. Well. So actually, Vienna is the capital city of Austria. My apologies. I think it was a slip of tongue. So let's do Angola. Angola. What's the capital city of Angola?
Luanda.
Unfortunately, it's Luanda.
We said
Luanda. Please, we said Luanda.
Yes. She initially said Luandi and then came up with Luanda. Out of magnanimity, I know some of the teachers will disagree with me, but I think I'll grant because the same person who had it correct. So that is 3 points for Oda Senior High. Luanda, that's correct. That's the capital town for Angola. That's correct. All right. So now I do not see any other participating school. So from here we move to fiscal geography. And so I start with Mauli Senior High. This is your question, and reflect through it within 20 seconds and give me feedback. When is the sun vertically overhead the Tropic of Capricorn? Which time of the year do we have the sun vertically overhead the Tropic of Capricorn?
22nd December.
22nd December is correct for 3 points. That is correct. And can you mute yourselves now? Opukwari just joined. You're welcome, Opukwari. You just joined. Opukwari, can you hear me?
Yes.
Right. So I'll ask you your question on human geography, and then I'll return back to fiscal geography. And that's what we'll be doing. And that's a way to be flexible. Given the problem with internet, at some point in time, some schools will drop off and rejoin. Once you drop off, we'll continue without you. But once you come, I think it's only fair that we ask all the questions in various segments of geography that you're yet to be interrogated on. So let's get back to Pokuwari Senior High. And I want to tell me the capital city of Belgium.
Brussels.
Sorry?
Brussels.
That is correct. Can you speak into the microphone so that I can hear you loud and clear? That is Brussels. That's correct. That's correct. So now let's continue the fiscal geography. And over here, I come to St. James. So yes, already Mauli had this correct. So we come to St. James. St. James, this is your question. Who am I? I'm a process whereby rocks are broken down or disintegrated exactly where the rock is. Who am I? St. James.
Weathering.
That is weathering. That is correct. That's correct for 3 points for St. James Seminary. We come to now Opokuwari. Opokuwari, this is your question on fiscal geography. If sandstone is metamorphosed, it becomes what? What is the output? And I want you to look into the camera or discuss amongst yourselves. If I see you observing somewhere above the camera, I'll disqualify you.
Shales.
Shades,
Quasi.
you said. No, sorry, I had shades, and that is incorrect. The answer is quartzite. Unfortunately, you came in after I had received the wrong one, so that doesn't fetch you anything for physical geography for Pokuware. So next time you join in quite late. So let me repeat myself. Make sure you discuss amongst yourselves. If you're in agreement, then you give one feedback at a time. I didn't want people throwing in answers here and there. And as much as possible, try to look directly into the camera or discuss amongst yourselves so that we can all be on the same page. Right. So we come to Boso senior high. Boso senior high. This question goes to you. The estimated age of the Earth. The Earth is estimated to be about how many years? What is the estimated age of the Earth? And your time has already started. Boso senior high. According to scientists, what is the estimated age of the Earth? One attempt. So discuss amongst yourselves. You are still within regulation time. Did you say something? Is it Boso?
Yeah, unmuted.
You're unmuted, but somehow I do not seem to hear what they're trying to say. Unfortunately, Boso, I'm not sure if it's the internet connectivity. It is something that is beyond us. So we'll skip this one. We'll skip this one, and I hope that we're able to resolve it, because as Professor Bremer said, it is not our responsibility to ensure that we have stable internet connectivity. So there's something that we need to work on from your end. Right. So from Boso, we go to Oda Senior High. Oda Senior High. Oda Senior High. Oda, this is your question, and listen with cocked ear so that you can. Boso, can you mute yourselves now? Boso, can you say something to me? Say something. Let me see if I can hear you. So you could hear me. You've unmuted yourself. So speak. Just unmute yourself and speak. Let me know that indeed you can hear. I can also get feedback from you. Unfortunately, you did. Okay. So yeah. So what then do we do? Because again, some of the teachers were complaining yesterday. They weren't trying to be magnanimous, kind, and fair to everyone. That somehow we are taking answers from outside the studio, and they're not comfortable with that. It does not lie in our interest to support any school against the other. So as much as possible, we only take feedback from the studio. And so, as you said, it's your responsibility to ensure that you have stable internet connectivity.
So if they can hear, they should go out and rejoin.
Yes, so if you can hear me, just exit and rejoin, and let's see if it will work better, because it will not be fair to also ask you to be, remove them and ask that someone should call, kindly production team, call them and let them rejoin so we can start and have a beautiful game. So then, yes, let's come to Oda Senior High. Oda Senior High. Oda Senior High. Now, which phenomenon is this? What is this technical term? How do we describe this? When the Earth comes between the sun and the moon, what happens? What is the name of that event?
Lunar eclipse.
Yes, that is eclipse of the moon or lunar eclipse. That is correct for 3 points. And that goes to Oda Senior High. So we'll now skip and come to, we've done human geography, we've done physical geography. So let's do some GIS. Let's do some GIS, GIS questions. And then if Boso is able to rejoin, we would ask them a question in physical geography, just to be fair to the technology. Right, so we are coming to GIS now, and the first question goes to Mauli. Mauli, what does the acronym GPS, what does it stand for?
Global Positioning System.
That is correct. The global positioning system.
The global positioning system.
Kindly mute yourselves once you are done. And if any of you is on Zoom, sorry, or it's on the YouTube, kindly ask them to mute because it gives me feedback. Thank you so much. So we come to St. James. St. James, if you are there with me, St. James. We are now celebrating GIS Day. Now, GIS Day, it's under the auspices of a number of important institutions, one of which is the ESRI. The ESRI. Can you tell me what this acronym stands for? St. James Seminary, ESRI. You're still reading with regulation time. So when you already talk, you just unmute and then you give me the answer. All right. Unfortunately, St. James, the ESR is the Environmental System Research Institute. The Environmental System Research Institute. Had the feedback that Boso has rejoined. Can you add them on for me? Right. So, okay. So then let me move on to Opokuware. Can you tell me the year in which the ESRI was founded, the Environmental Systems Research Institute? Do you have any idea as to when it was founded? And I want you to look into the camera. Opokuware, I want to look, yes, or discuss among yourself. Don't be looking above the camera.
1968.
1969. You almost had it correctly. 1969. My apologies. It's not 1968, but 1969. 1969. So we come to Boso. Boso. I hope Boso is still online. They went back. Unfortunately, the internet is not our best of allies. So they are back. I hope so. Boso, are you ready for me? Boso, can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm going to ask one question.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. I'm going to ask you one question in physical geography because you dropped off, and then I'll ask your question in GIS as well, so we can make up for the shortfall when you left. Right. So this is your physical geography question. The tropical continental air mass is also known as what? The tropical continental air mass is also known as what?
Maritime air mass.
I'm afraid is the northeast.
Maritime.
Yes, I'm afraid is the northeast trade winds. The northeast trade winds is the synonym for the tropical continental air mass. I'm afraid. So let's get back to GIS now, and this goes to Boso. So let me ask you your GIS question. So the Environmental Systems Research Institute, ESRI, which was founded in 1969, was founded in which particular city of the United States of America? Where was the ESRI? Where was it founded? And still within regulation time.
New York City.
Sorry?
New York City.
Oh no,
New York
I'm
City.
sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's just it's California, not New York City. So the idea behind this quiz is also to help educate you all, so we all learn from each other. The ESRI was founded in 1969 in California, Redlands, California, not New York City. So then we move on to Oda Senior High. Oda Senior High. This is your GIS question. Oda Senior High. Kindly listen with rapt attention. Now, in GIS, we may represent data in how many formats? And I want you to look into the camera or discuss amongst yourselves. In GIS, we may represent data in how many formats? And you're still within regulation time.
3.
Unfortunately, it is 2. We have 2 main. Yes. It's quite unfortunate. It's quite disappointing, but it's actually 2, not 3 data sets, types of data. So that does it for the GIS. Let's do some. Sorry, St. James. St. James, have I asked any GIS question? St. James.
Yes.
Okay, all right, sure. Thank you so much. Yeah, you have exhausted this list. So let's do some map work as well. Let's do some map work, and we're starting with Mauli. A line that is drawn from the North Pole to the South Pole on the globe is called what?
Longitude.
That is a longitude, correct, for 3 points. That is a longitude, correct.
That's a longitude, correct, for 3 points.
That's correct. That is correct. So now I come to St. James. St. James Seminary. St. James Seminary. The longitude 0 degree is also known as what? St. James Seminary.
Greenwich Meridian.
Sorry?
Greenwich Meridian.
Okay, it is correct, or the prime meridian, the Greenwich Meridian, because we know that it passes through Greenwich somewhere in the UK and also passes through Tema here in Ghana. So you're correct. It's either known as the Greenwich Meridian or the prime meridian. That's correct point to correct for 3 points for St. James Seminary. Now I come to Opokuwari. Now, lines on the map that are drawn parallel to each other and run from west to east are also known as what? That's still within regulation.
Latitude.
Latitude is correct for 3 points. It is correct for 3 points. Opokuwari, you've done well. So let's go to Boso. Boso, this question goes to you. What is the synonym for lines of latitudes? Which other word can you use to represent lines of latitudes? Boso, you're within regulation time. You may call it either as lines of latitudes or
Meridian.
unfortunately, it is parallels. So they're either lines of latitudes or they run parallel to each other, okay? From east to west, they run parallel to each other. They're called the parallels. Right, so we move to Odan Senior High. What synonym can you give to the longitude, the lines of longitudes? Another name for the lines of longitude is what?
Meridian.
The meridians. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Have I exhausted all my schools? Right. So now we'll put the scores together, and then we'll pick two schools to join the qualifiers. So let's hear from the score master. Yes, so at the end of this round, Mauli Senior High had 12 points. St. James had 6 points. Opokuwari had 6 points. Boso had 3 points. And Odan Senior High had 9 points. So what that means, the implication of this is that Mauli Senior High and Odan Senior High have earned for themselves the opportunity to join us in the next round of the competition. For the others, wish the very best, and thank you for putting your best foot forward. Oda.
Oda is joining semi-final 1.
Okay.
And then Maui will join semi-final 2.
Okay, so Oda will join semi-final 1.
Which comes up right after this.
And so just right after this, whilst the other schools exit, Oda should stay, don't leave yet, because we're going to subject you to another round of question with other set of students. But the rest, you may leave. What's that school? Mauli will join in the second semifinals, right? So we are moving to the semifinals. We would ask the other schools to exit, and then we would bring on board the other candidates to join Oda so that we can proceed. Thank you all and wish you the very best.
So they said, don't leave. Hey, you're going to face Bolliger. Don't be afraid. We will beat them to the finals.
They said this don't need one school.
I think 2. I think they will need three for people so that it will be 6 in the finals.
Bolliger or feedback?
There's the first one. And we have. I place a new link on the machine. Check for.
See, they wrote my name. My name is 15 So she very much in the present. Was everywhere.
Madam, so why?
Bangladesh is Dhaka. And Senegal is what? Dhaka. Bangladesh.
So you need
He said we should sign in.
No shading, tinting, trigonometric.
There's the first one. That's all that.
I sent it to
So you pay like you really see what I say one. This table? Yes.
Yes.
All right, guys, all the best, guys.
All right. So, good morning once again. Good morning, contestants. Good morning and welcome to the first round of the competition. I ask that you mute yourself when it's not time to speak. Bolga and Pope Jones, can you please mute yourselves so we can start? Thank you. Right. So let me repeat the instructions. You may be given 20 seconds within which to give an answer. You are required to ensure that there is fairness and equity and there is integrity in the system itself. So we're trying to objectively measure your activities, the facial expressions, and where your eyeballs are fixed, and whether indeed you are looking to the camera to speak to us. And so we have a team supporting me. The original idea was for us to objectively and remotely use an app that will be installed on your device to measure where your eyes are directed at. And so unfortunately, we sent the link, but it appears some teachers could not really see the email or install it. And so what I mean is that we have a team on standby here with me in the studio that's also monitoring to see. So as much as possible, they give me indication that you are taking inspiration or you are being helped by your teachers. I may be forced to disqualify the particular school. And so as much as possible, you are at liberty to converse amongst yourselves as candidates until you find the correct answer, and then you go ahead and speak. Or you can talk amongst yourselves within the 20 seconds that you have. But beyond that, you should not be allowed, you should not be seen looking beyond your camera or to the left or right of the camera. We are trying to prevent a situation where, unfortunately, some teachers are trying to cheat the system. So we're also monitoring. So please, let's do this for our own good. Let's do this for our own benefit. So far, I have only Accra Academy, Pope Jones, and Odas Senior High is trying to rejoin. I've just added them on. So Oda, kindly meet yourselves, and then we can start. If the other schools join later, then I'll ask them their set of questions in a row. Right. So then let's start with Pope Jones. Pope Jones are here. Great. Pope Jones. So we are going to take some set of questions in human geography, and then from there we would move to human physical geography, map work, GIS, and then map work. So that will be the order for this particular round of the quiz. Now, so Pope Jones, this is your question. In which year did Ghana undertake a referendum to create new regions? In which year was that? And you have 20 seconds. You can discuss amongst yourselves. You give only one answer at a time. Pope Jones Senior High.
4 years.
Sorry?
4 years.
In which year? In which year?
2014. 16.
2016.
It's actually 2018. 2018. We did have the referendum to create new regions in 2018. In 2018. So then from Pope Jones, I come to, unfortunately, Boko hasn't joined yet. So I come to Accra Academy. Accra Academy. How many regions were added after the referendum?
6.
6 regions.
6 regions were.
Kindly ask. I suspect perhaps your teachers may be also watching us on YouTube. Kindly ask that they mute or they exit YouTube so we can actually prevent ourselves from getting feedback. So please, the tutors, kindly make sure that if you're on YouTube, just mute yourselves because we are getting terrible feedback. Accra Academy, kindly mute not just the studio, but if you have any other device that is turned on or you are in any other social media platform, kindly kindly mute yourself or exit from that media platform because it gives me feedback. Right, so Accra Academy was correct for 3 points when it said that 6 additional regions were added during the referendum to add additional regions. Now let's go to Bolgatanga. Bolgatanga, this is your question. This question goes to Bolgatanga Senior High, and this is your question. What presently is the most populous region in Ghana? And your time starts now. We recently did a survey. The results are out. What's the most populous region? We are still within time. The Greater Accra region is the most populous. That is correct. That is correct. And indeed, it is followed by Ashanti region, Eastern region, yes, great. Kindly mute yourself. So yes, the Greater Accra presently is the most populous, followed by the Ashanti and Eastern region. That is the most in that order. Thank you so much, Bogatanga. So we move to Odan Senior High. Odan Senior High. What is the least populous region in Ghana presently? The least. Odan Senior High. You are still within regulation time. Once you are ready to tell me the answer, you mute yourself and then you go ahead.
Northeast.
Unfortunately, it is Ahafo region, carved out of the Bron region. So it is Ahafo region. We have 564,000 inhabitants. That's the least populous region presently in Ghana. Right, so I've exhausted my questions. Sorry, yeah, they were correct. No, what did they say? No, they didn't get correct. Yeah, so I was actually giving the correct answer. It's actually Ahafo, but unfortunately, they couldn't get the answer correct. So that is it. So now let's move to, from human geography, let's do some physical geography questions. And I'd like to start from Pope Jones. Pope Jones, if you're ready for me, which layer of the atmosphere contains about 75% of the gases of the atmosphere, as well as dust and water vapor, where weather conditions are mostly experienced?
The troposphere.
The troposphere is correct for 3 points. The troposphere indeed is correct for 3 points, and that goes to Pope Jones. We go to Accra Academy. The upper boundary of the second layer of the atmosphere is called what? The upper boundary of the second layer of the atmosphere is called what?
Stratopause.
The stratopause is correct. I have asked you to exit. I think one of your masters is having the YouTube still on. Once you are done, can you mute yourself or just exit YouTube so we can prevent ourselves from getting feedback. So let's just stick to the one device you're using. That is correct. So it's actually the stratopause. That is the upper boundary of the second layer of the atmosphere. So from there we go to Bolga. It is the next layer after the troposphere and lies above the tropopause. It extends upward to about 50 kilometers from the Earth. It contains the ozone layer. Temperature increases or rises as height increases. Which layer of the atmosphere am I describing?
Stratosphere.
The stratosphere, that's correct. Stratosphere. That's correct. Yes, that's correct. Yes, you had it correct. That's correct. So that's for 3 points for Bolgatanga. So from Bolga, I come to Oda, if you're here with me, Oda, the process by which heat is transferred from one medium to another, where the medium is in motion through fluids, liquids, and gases, is called what? What's the name of this process? You are still reading regulation time. Oda Senior High.
The question again.
The process by which heat is transferred from one medium to another medium, where the medium is in motion, example, like through fluids, liquids, or gases. How do you call that process?
Radiation.
Unfortunately, it's not radiation, it is convection. 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 So that settles the question that we may have on physical geography. Now let's go to the GIS questions. Let's have some GIS questions. All right, so let's do some GIS questions. Now, in GIS, we've already learned on this platform that we have two main data sets. That was actually said during the first round of the work. So, Pope Jones, tell me one main type of GIS data set. Pope Jones.
GMAP.
Sorry?
GMAP.
That's no. Unfortunately, that is not correct.
Stereotype data.
No. You only give one option, but that is incorrect. Even the second you give is incorrect. So I'll skip that. I go to Accra Academy. In GIS, we have either the vector data or the raster data, right? Now, how many types of vector data do we have? How many types of vector data do we have? And that goes to Accra Academy. How many vector data types do we have?
5.
Unfortunately, it's actually 3. It's actually 3. We have 3 main data types. And then, so I come to Bolga. We have 3 main data types, 3 main vector data types. Can you give me one example of these data types? Bolga, you're within regulation time. We have 3 main vector data sets. Can you give me one example of these 3?
Spatial data.
Unfortunately, it's not spatial data. So we do not have spatial data in that. So I'll skip that. Unfortunately, we couldn't get that from Bolga too. Let's see if Odan can do us good. Odan, let's see. So usually we may have some old maps, okay? And this goes to Odan. We may have some old maps sitting as topo sheets, hard copies printed out. And sometimes we need to transfer the information from the hard paper into a soft version that we can use in GIS. How do we call that process? The process of converting analog paper-based map into digital form in a GIS environment. How do you call that? How do you call that process? How do you call that process? Are we still within time? Yes, we are still within time. Or that we are still within time. So there's a process involved when you're trying to convert your analog based map. Yes, are you ready for me?
Transmission.
Unfortunately, it's not translation. It is called digitizing. So you have an analog map which is paper-based, and you convert it into a digital. So you are digitizing. It's a beautiful experience. Perhaps when you do well and you pass and you come to our department here at the university, we will train you on how to use the tablets to actually digitize your old topo map. It will amaze you. So that settles it, right? Bolga is in. Sorry. Boko is now in. So Boko, you're welcome. Let me ask you the next set of questions, and the questions will move from human geography through to physical geography. We asked some. No, I haven't asked the map questions. Okay, so yes, let me welcome Boko. Boko, so this question goes to human geography. It goes to Boko. This goes to Boko. Which country is the largest producer of cocoa in Africa? It is touted as the country, and I want you to look into the camera directly. I don't want you to look elsewhere. We have a team monitoring to see what you're looking. You can discuss amongst yourselves. You have 20 seconds within which you can give only one response at a time. What is the largest, the country
Cote d'Ivoire.
that is
Cote
praised
d'Ivoire.
as the largest producer of cocoa in Africa?
Cote
No,
d'Ivoire.
Cote d'Ivoire.
Cote d'Ivoire, yes, Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast, that's correct. That's correct for 3 points for Boko. Boko. So then we come to physical geography, still on Boko, still on Boko, still on Boko. So let's see Boko. The process of heat transfer from one body to another without any material medium is called what?
Radiation.
Radiation is correct for 3 points, Boko. Boko, that's actually correct for 3 points. Then I come to GIS. I come to GIS. So I was just explaining to your colleagues a process called digitization, where you are converting your analog maps into digital form. Now, sometimes too, we can convert your vector data into raster data. So there are two types of data sets in GIS. We have the vector data, we have the raster data set. Now, if you're converting a vector data into a raster data, how do you call that process?
Rasterization.
Rasterization, that is correct. That is correct from Boko. That is correct. I would create the indulgence of my studio panel to maintain decorum. So yes, that's rasterization. That's correct. So the process converting your vector data into raster format, rasterized format is called the rasterization. That's correct. That's correct. So then let's do some map work. Let's do some map work. Some map interpretation. And so I'll start with Pope Jones. Pope Jones, if you're ready for me, I'll start with Pope Jones. The time in Accra is the same as that of London in Britain during the northern summer. Why is that so? The time in Accra, you're still within revelation time, so I can repeat myself. Why is it so that the time?
Use the question again.
The time in Accra in Ghana is the same as the time of London in Britain during the northern summer. Why is it so? Can you explain why is it so?
Because we are on the same longitude.
Because you're on the same
Longitudinal line.
longitudinal line.
Or the same longitude. That's correct. That's correct. Because you're on the same longitude or the same prime meridian. That is correct. That is correct. So I come to Boko. Boko, now take this one for me. The scale which shows a divided line of primaries and secondaries on a map is called what?
Linear scale.
Linear scale is correct. It's correct for 3 points from Boko. Now we come to Accra Academy. Accra Academy. I want you to listen with cocked ears, with rapt attention. You get this one, Accra Academy. A collection of maps in a book or bound form is called what? You're still within time. A collection of maps.
Atlas.
An atlas.
That's correct.
For 3 points.
For 3 points.
That's correct. That's correct. So I come to Bolga Senior High. Bolga Senior High. This is your question. Take it. I know you can do it. Population density is often represented on which type of map? Population density is often represented on which type of map? Yes, Bogatanga, you are still within contention time. Population density. Within contention time. Population density. You're still within time.
It's distributive map.
You're still within time. Unfortunately, no. It's called the choropleth. The choropleth map. The choropleth map. The choropleth map. Okay, so can you mute yourself and then ask? I actually would ask again that teachers who are watching this on YouTube, once your contestants are on and you're in the same room with them, please exit YouTube, else give us terrible feedback. Right, so we move to order. We move to order. We move to Oda. A compass indicates direction by what approach? How does a compass indicate direction? If a compass wants to indicate direction, what does it detect? What does it detect? What does it detect? A compass, if it wants to detect the direction, what does it detect? How does it work? What does it detect?
It uses the Earth magnetic system.
By pointing to the north, south, east, or west. And it
Uses the Earth magnetic system.
by pointing
It uses the magnetic lines of force. Okay. Yes, I'll give that to you. Use the magnetic line of force. I'll give that. That's correct. I'll give that to Oda Senior High. So I think we are done. Right. So at this stage, at the end of this competition, this is how we fared. That's the semifinal, right? Right. So saying Pope Jones had 6 points. Boku Senior High had 12 points. Accra Academy had 9 points. Bolga Senior High had 6 points. And Oda Senior High had 3 points. And so what that means is that Boku Senior High and Accra Academy have qualified to the next stage of the competition. Sorry? Yes, the final contest. Yes, so to the that'll be the final contest. Congratulations to Boku Senior High. You emerged with 12 points, and then Accra Academy with 9 points. So the rest of the groups, we thank you for your participation. You've indeed done so well. I'm impressed. Unfortunately, we can only do with two groups of institutions from this round to the next. Right. So we will take a breather so you can exit from the studio now whilst we invite the other schools to join us for the next round of the competition. Thank you so much and have the best for the day.
Hello? Hello? I told me speak shit here. Hello?
Convection.
Please come and sit down.
The convection reform is convection.
Listen. Make sure it's clear. Please join. Joseph, please join. Yeah, you join now. Okay, thank you. We can go.
The connection. One child.
Hello? 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 Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Oh, he has my voice. That's why you want to. No, how are you? Huh? But are they here? Yes, I'm trying to see. Help me find out. It's Sylvia. It's like it's a place. No, no. Once I spoke and we could hear him speaking, it means that anybody else. So, we should leave the hand around. All right, no, for the rest of the lesson, yes. It's good. What time is it? It's supposed to be 10:32. My time is not long. You know, if you're lying on the school Wi-Fi, doesn't help. They can see you. You can see that. It's not like yesterday.
All right, so good morning to all the contesting institutions. I welcome you to the semifinal of this year's GIS. Quiz. I would encourage that as much as possible. If it is not your time to speak, make sure that you've muted yourself. Once you're done speaking, so when you're about to speak, you unmute, and once you're done speaking, you mute back so that we don't get feedback. I know that some of our teachers were also watching us live on Facebook, but once your institutions are participating and they are within the studio, I'll crave your indulgence for you to exit YouTube and then join us. Observe, because else you give us feedback from the end. And so I'm going to ask questions from human geography through to fiscal, GIS, and also map work, map reading, map interpretation. Now, what will happen is that you'll be given 20 seconds within which you can think among yourselves as a group, arrive at a unanimous response, and then share with us. You only have one attempt to speak audibly so that I can hear, and then we'll pronounce judgment on whether you were correct or you were wrong. We were hoping to employ an app that objectively measures or calculates your facial expression, how you are actually looking into the camera. As I've said, you can discuss amongst yourselves. So in that case, that is allowed. But if you're looking beyond the camera, then the suspicion is that someone is behind dictating to you, and we do not encourage that. As much as possible, we are trying to ensure that we have an incident-free, a very clean competition. And so teachers, we are not only training our students to win laurels now, but we are training them for the future. So as much as possible, let's do away with all sort of more practices and the natural tendency to assist them. It will not really help them going forward. So I have in which particular order? Navrongo Presek, Atrensia is here to join, and then Pando Senior High, and then Mauli. So at least we have 4. We can start. If Atrensia is able to overcome their internet hurdles, they can join. Once they join, I'll take them through all the outstanding questions that we would have gone through already, and then make sure that they're also served. Right, so if you're ready for me, then I'm also ready for you. And let's begin with Navrongo Senior High. Navrongo Senior High. Which country in Africa is said to be the largest producer of petroleum? Your time starts now. You have 20 seconds within which to work. Navrongo Senior High. You can discuss amongst yourselves.
Nigeria.
That is correct. That's absolutely correct. For 3 marks from Navrongo. That is correct. Nigeria is the largest producer of oil, of petroleum products. So then let me come to Presek. In terms of the in terms of gold production, which country in Africa is touted to be the largest producer in Africa?
South Africa.
South Africa is correct for 3 marks, and that goes to Presek. That's correct. Atrensia is here to join, so I skip Atrensia. We come to Pando. Pando, what about copper production? Which country is touted or is hailed as the largest producer in Africa? Copper. Pando Senior High, you are still within regulation time.
Question again.
Please, the question again.
Who is asking for the question again?
Pando Senior High.
Before you said the question again, who asked the question again before you said the question again?
No, nobody asked for it. It's still Pando Senior High with the contestants.
Okay, so I changed the question. But as I said, as much as possible, don't give us any indication to suspect that someone is trying to assist. It will not help any one of us. And so I need to change the question. Now, let's talk about the production of coal, the mineral coal. Which country in Africa is the largest producer of coal in Africa? And that's from Pando. We are still within regulation time.
South Africa.
South Africa, that's correct. That is correct. They produce about 99% of the continent's output. I understand Achensua is in. Achensua, can you hear me? Can you unmute? Achensua, can you please hear me? Can you indicate that you can hear me? Achensua, can you hear me? Achensua, can you hear me? Unfortunately, Achensua appears to be having challenges with the internet. So you may rejoin whilst the competition is still ongoing. So I'll skip to the other institutions, the other schools, and then as at when you're able to join and join very well, then we would ask all the questions. But that should be within the regulation time. Once we are done and you're here with us, we'll just declare our score. So if the tutors of Achensua are listening, kindly make sure that you rejoin. Maybe you can exit now and rejoin with a more better internet connectivity so we can hear you. Apologies for that, Achensua.
Achensua, I can hear you.
Just move to. Can you?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes. Yes. So Mauli unfortunately has dropped. We are trying to reconnect with Mauli and Achensua. Meanwhile, we can start. So we can continue with. Okay. So we're done for. We're done with human geography for all the contestant schools except Achensua and Mauli. Okay. So at least Navrongo is here, Presek is here, Pando is also here. So let's do some physical geography questions. Let's do some physical geography questions, and then let's do some physical geography questions. Let's do some physical geography questions. And we start with Navrongo. The first layer of the ocean floor is also known as what? The first layer of the ocean floor, Navrongo, that comes to you.
The seer.
Sorry?
Seer.
I'm afraid that's not the correct answer. We are looking for continental shelf. The continental shelf. That is the first layer of the ocean floor. The continental shelf. That's the correct answer. That's the first layer of the of the ocean floor. So let's come to Presek. The food for fishes is also known as what? The food for fishes.
Plankton.
The plankton, that is correct. That is correct. That's correct for 3 marks. I come to Achensua is back. So let me go to Pando first, then I'll exhaust this question. I'll come back to Achensua. Let me do Pando. Pando, so this is your question. This is your question. This is your question. All right, so this question goes to Pando. Can you give me any one particular continent that was part of the so-called Gondwana land? The so-called Gondwana land. There were several continents that were part of that supercontinent. Name any one of them for me.
Africa.
Africa, of course. Africa was one of these. Africa was one of these. Together with South America and Australia. These continents constitute the so-called Gondwanaland. That's correct, for 3 points. So I come to Achrensia. Achrensia, if you can hear me, we'll take your questions from human geography first, right? Human geography first, and then we come to the physical geography. We take from human geography first, and then we come to the physical geography. So, Achrensia, listen and listen carefully. It is the largest producer of uranium in Africa. Which country am I referring to? The largest producer of uranium in Africa. I want you to be looking to the camera or discuss amongst yourselves. Actually, so you are not looking elsewhere. Did you give an answer? I didn't quite get that.
Africa.
Sorry?
Please, the question again. The question again.
Which country is the largest producer of uranium in Africa? Are we still within time? I think the network is very terrible, and it leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
It takes a while before you actually get to hear my questions, and then somehow your feedback I'm unable to get. So, Achrensia, I think we may have to move on without Achrensia because unfortunately we asked for you to rejoin, and somehow the network is still very, very terrible. Sorry?
Algeria.
Nigeria, you said. Unfortunately, it's not Nigeria. It is Namibia. Namibia. Unfortunately, Algeria, you couldn't get that one. It is Namibia. Kindly mute yourselves now. And let's have a decent conversation from here. So, actually, this will be your second question, and this is on physical geography. This is on physical geography. Can you name any one of the layers that constitute the internal structure of the Earth? One of the layers that constitute the internal structures of the Earth. One of the layers of the Earth's internal structure, sorry. Achrensia, please come again. You remain muted, but you are still within revelation time. So let's see how you're able to proceed whilst we are within revelation time. We're still within time. Achrensia, unfortunately, it looks like they've dropped up completely as far as I can see from here. So then let me skip Achrensia and then also drop this question. So we're actually going to Mauli's back. Mauli, can you hear me? Which questions were we reserved for Mauli?
I hear you.
So, okay, yes. Mauli, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. So I'm going to ask questions on human geography and then physical geography to make up for the shortfall before we continue with the GIS for the rest of the schools. Now, it is known as the longest river in Africa. Which river am I referring to?
River Nile.
River Nile, that is correct. The Nile is, yes, it's in total 6,853 kilometers. And it runs through 11 countries, including Egypt, Ethiopia, Uganda, and Rwanda. And so that's correct. We know that it's made up of both the blue Nile and the white Nile. And so it's the longest in Africa. That's correct. So let's do some physical geography. That goes to Mali. That goes to Mali. So this is your physical geography question. This is the physical geography question that goes to Mali School. Can you name any one particular effect or an event that can potentially affect the salinity of the ocean. The salinity or the salt content of the ocean may be influenced by what?
Sunshine.
Sorry?
Flow of rivers into the sea.
Okay, the flow of fresh water into the sea. We talk about rivers, fresh water. I think I'll give that to you. I'll give that to Mauli. So that's correct. That's correct for 3 points. So yes, the flow of fresh water or river bodies we expect to be fresh into the sea would affect the salinity. Not only that, the rate of evaporation will also affect the sea salinity and also the ocean current. And these are all correct. That's good. So that I think we can now continue with the GIS questions. Actually, is back. Okay. So we are all moving to GIS. All right. So now let's move to GIS, and we'll begin with Navrongo Senior High. Navrongo. The GPS, as we've learned, is also known as the Global Positioning System. What is the full name of the GPS? So we know we have a GPS, the Global Positioning System, but it has a full name. Actually, the GPS is just a truncated version of a much longer name. What is the name of the GPS in full? And I want you to reflect among yourselves, look into the camera and tell me if you're ready, you'll mute yourself. You're still within regulation time. Yes, Navrongo. What is the full name of the Global Positioning Systems, or GPS for short? What's the full name? We are still within time. Navrongo. Unfortunately, your time is up. Navrongo, you couldn't score that one. Your time is up. I'm afraid your time is up. So it's actually called the Navstar GPS. The Navstar GPS. Right, so let's go to Presec. Now we are celebrating GIS Day. Can you tell me whose idea this whole GIS Day emerged? Whose idea? Who's the brainchild? Who came up with the idea to have a GIS Day? Presec. Yeah, within regulation time, Presec. Sorry?
Jack Dangermond.
Jack Dangermond. He actually is the owner or the co-founder and president of the ESRI. I'll give you half because according to Jack Dangermond, it was actually Ralph Nader who inspired him to come up with the GIS Day. So much as Jack Dangermond remains the president and actually co-founder, he himself credits the man Ralph Nader. So Presec, I'll give you half. I'll give you half for your effort. You tried, but so they are co-founders. But according to Dangermond himself, it was Ralph Nader's idea who inspired the creation of the GIS Day. But I think it was a modest effort, and so I'll give you half for that. Right. So we come to Pando. The acronym Navstar GPS. What does it stand for? The acronym Navstar GPS. Can you try? Have you heard it before? Can you guess? What does it stand for? The acronym Navstar GPS. Pando, you're still in contention. You're still within regulation time, as far as I can see.
Navigational star.
Just give it a shot.
Navigation star GPS. Navigation star GPS.
Okay, I heard that, but it's actually navigation, satellite, timing, and ranging GPS. It's a long one. Navigation, satellite, timing, and ranging system. I'll give you 1 mark for that. You mentioned navigation. I just want to be kind to you. You did well. You were actually able to say navigation. But actually, it's an amalgamation of satellites. Okay, so the navigation, satellite, timing, and ranging GPS, global positioning systems. That's the full name. I'll give you 1 mark for that. So let's come to Mauli. The Navstar GPS was built by which institution, by which agency, by which organization, which institution built the Navstar GPS? The Navstar GPS. Yes,
The
Mauli.
ESRI.
Sorry?
ESRI.
U.S. Army or the U.S. Department of Defense.
ESRI.
ESRI. Oh, I'm sorry. That's incorrect. It's actually the U.S. Armed Force or the Department of Defense. Okay, the U.S. Department of Defense. Okay, it was actually built as a military installation meant for the U.S. quest to police the world or to know everything about the world remotely. And so they need to build the Navstar GPS. And indeed, in addition to the U.S., other world superpowers have also built their own satellite systems. But the Americans, they call their own the Navstar GPS or GPS for short. Have you exhausted all the schools? Achensua is not back yet, are they? Okay, Achensua, I'm told you are back. Welcome back. I'm really sorry for the poor internet connectivity, but it's something that should have been resolved long ago. So, Achensua, this question goes to you. We are celebrating GIS Day globally. Over here in Ghana, we are joining our colleagues all over the world to celebrate the GIS Day. Now, on which particular date or season or timeline do we celebrate the GIS Day every year? Okay, it does appear Achensua is going off again. So on that note, we are done with the GIS sort of questions. Let's go to map work, right? Let's do map work. If Achensua is able to join, that's fine. If not, then we'll consider that they are out of the competition, unfortunately. Right, so let's do some map work. And we are going to begin with Navrongo. We begin with Navrongo. If you take 1 degree of longitude, what is its equivalence in minutes of time? How many minutes of time will be 1 degree of longitude? And that's Navrongo.
4 minutes.
That's Navrongo. Sorry?
4 minutes.
4 minutes is
4
correct.
minutes.
Yes, that's correct. So every 1 degree of longitude is equivalent of 4 minutes. That is correct. That's correct. Now let's come to Presec. Now there are different types of maps, okay? This particular map in particular emphasizes particular themes or special topics, such as, for instance, the average distribution of rainfall of an area. How do you call such maps?
Thematic maps.
Thematic maps, that is correct. That is absolutely correct. A map that focuses on particular themes or special topics, such as rainfall or agric or population or urbanization, whatever you're trying to represent. And if it's themed based, it's called a thematic map. That's correct. So we come to Pando. Pando, do this one for me. You want to represent on a map lines of equal atmospheric pressure. What tool are you going to employ? On weather maps, what are you going to use to connect lines of equal atmospheric pressure? You are still within regulation time, Pando.
Isobars.
That is correct. Absolutely correct. That is correct for 3 points. For for Tando. So I moved to Mauli. I moved to Mauli. So you want to represent on a map lines of equal temperature on a weather map. How do you call it? What are you going to use?
Isotherm.
Isotherms, that is correct. Isotherms, that is correct. From Mauli, that is 3 points from Mauli. So, yes, unfortunately, Shirin Suya couldn't join us due to poor internet connectivity. Okay, I understand that Shirin Suya is back. And thank you for the determination to still stay and fight on. That's quite encouraging. So we need to ask questions on fiscal. Okay, so actually, so take this one for me. I hope this one you can do it. Let's do this one. So the type of rocks. By the way, can you hear me? Let me note that. Because I don't want to destroy my question if your internet is not working. Actually, can you hear me? Okay, so again, if you can write and show to this, okay. If you can hear me, that's okay. But if you can write and then show your answer, write legibly and show to the camera, I think that I can also take that because I am inspired by your sense of not giving up and trying to reconnect. So I think I need to be magnanimous towards you. So I'm going to ask the question. You write down the answer if you know it on a sheet of paper, and then you display to the camera. If I can read, then at least that can be an easy way out. So the type of rocks which is well stratified and contains fossils is also known as what?
Sedimentary rock.
What did you say? Can you take it again?
Sedimentary rocks.
Sedimentary rocks. That is correct. That is correct for 3 points. That's for the. Yes, madam, I heard you loud and clear. Yes. I'm not taking that from you. You are correct. You are correct. So we come to what from fiscal? We go to what for change here? GIS. So actually, do this one for me. Do this one for me. So we have learned that the GIS Day was inspired by Ralph Nader, and so Jack Dangamond credits him for being the brain or the inspiration, and that's every third Wednesday of November every year we celebrate GIS Day. Can you tell me the very first GIS Day, when was it celebrated? Achensia. Achensia, you can write it down, or you can say it out loud. You are still within regulation time, Achensia.
$1999.
1999. That is correct. That is correct for 3 points. That's correct. That's correct. Right. So can we put up? Or is there one more question on map work? On map work. So Achensia, this is the last one on map work. Now there are different types of maps. I'm going to describe one map type to you, and then you tell me the name of that map. The type of map that is drawn to show the ownership of landed property. I want you to look into the camera, Achensia. Look into the camera. The type of map drawn to show the ownership of landed property by demarcating field boundaries of agricultural land and a plan of individual houses in urban areas. It's also termed as what? I want you to look into the camera. Actually, I want you to look into the camera. There's a type of map, yes. There's a type of map which is drawn to show ownership of landed property. You are still within regulation time. Landed property by demarcating field boundaries for agricultural land. Sorry. Take it again. Cadastral maps, that's correct, for 3 points.
Cadastral map.
Yes, I know. I heard you loud and clear. It's cadastral. You're correct. No wonder you were so ambitious. You wanted to go and return and return and return. The network has been very terrible, but you've managed. You've managed. So let's see. So at the end of the semifinals for Group 2, Navrongo Senior High had 6 points or 6 marks. Presec had 10.5 marks. Achrensia had 9 points or 9 marks. Pando Senior High had 10 marks. And then Mauli had 9 marks. So what that means is that at the end of this semifinal, Presec had 10.5, emerging on top of the group, with Pando also coming in as the second, eligible school to compete in the finals. And so, with that said, I congratulate Presec and Pando. Yes, so that actually was meant for Presec and Pando Senior High. For the rest, congratulations, you've done so well. We've come so far. You've put your best foot forward. Achrensia, you did so well in terms of the network, and in spite of that, it still came so close by. So we wish you all the very best. We would continue to the next segment of the competition with Presec and Pando from this group. And then I think Boko Senior High and Accra Academy. Right, so wish you the very best, and then stay safe. We'll keep in touch some other time. Bye for now.
Hello, my name is Jack Benjamin, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the GIS Day in 2021. This is our 21st anniversary for this day, and its purpose is really grounded in the idea of sharing the great work that GIS professionals and our technology in our field is bringing to the world. Now, it's an amazing thing that happens every year. Thousands and thousands of people get together, they form little groups, they bring their maps, they show what they're doing, and it lays down good footprints. My good friend Will I Am says it's a time to soak it up, like with a sponge, and rinse it out. Not only learn today, but also share what you learn to other people. Because GIS is growing very rapidly, as we know. It's impacting almost every field on the planet. And nobody hardly knows about it compared to things like social media and the like. So this is an opportunity to share with children, showing them these professional activities that we do with maps and geographic data, and introduce also to executives and people who really don't know about our world, the whole idea of the geographic approach. Now this approach is all about integrating layers of information, seeing things holistically, communicating more effectively with maps. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for organizing this event, but also thank you very much for coming. Many of you are holding it in a virtual environment, which I'm really excited to see. While we miss being together, this new media is allowing us to expand even greater the reach of our great work, your great work really, using geography and GIS to make a better world. So thank you. Enjoy the day. Hello, my name is Jack Benjamin, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the GIS Day in 2021. This is our 21st anniversary for this day, and its purpose is really grounded in the idea of sharing the great work that GIS professionals and our technology in our field is bringing to the world. Now, it's an amazing thing that happens every year. Thousands and thousands of people get together, they form little groups, they bring their maps, they show what they're doing, and it lays down good footprints. My good friend Will I Am says it's a time to soak it up, like with a sponge, and rinse it out. Not only learn today, but also share what you learn to other people. Because GIS is growing very rapidly, as we know. It's impacting almost every field on the planet. And nobody hardly knows about it compared to things like social media and the like. So this is an opportunity to share with children, showing them these professional activities that we do with maps and geographic data, and introduce also to executives and people who really don't know about our world the whole idea of the geographic approach. Now, this approach is all about integrating layers of information, seeing things holistically, communicating more effectively with maps. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for organizing this event, but also thank you very much for coming. Many of you are holding it in a virtual environment, which I'm really excited to see. While we miss being together, this new media is allowing us to expand even greater the reach of our great work, your great work really, using geography and GIS to make a better world. So thank you. Enjoy the day. Hello, my name is Jack Benjamin, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the GIS Day in 2021. This is our 21st anniversary for this day, and its purpose is really grounded in the idea of sharing the great work that GIS professionals and our technology in our field is bringing to the world. Now, it's an amazing thing that happens every year. Thousands and thousands of people get together, they form little groups, they bring their maps, they show what they're doing, and it lays down good footprints. My good friend Will I Am says it's a time to soak it up, like with a sponge, and rinse it out. Not only learn today, but also share what you learn to other people. Because GIS is growing very rapidly, as we know. It's impacting almost every field on the planet. And nobody hardly knows about it compared to things like social media and the like. So this is an opportunity to share with children, showing them these professional activities that we do with maps and geographic data, and introduce also to executives and people who really don't know about our world the whole idea of the geographic approach. Now, this approach is all about integrating layers of information, seeing things holistically, communicating more effectively with maps. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for organizing this event, but also thank you very much for coming. Many of you are holding it in a virtual environment, which I'm really excited to see. While we miss being together, this new media is allowing us to expand even greater the reach of our great work, your great work really, using geography and GIS to make a better world. So thank you. Enjoy the day.
So by 12 o'clock, show will be done. Then we'll know our fate. Yes. If God permit.
They are the first in the studio.
Chest.
Aha. Bone, so tall, bone, last year. Then, I'm in the quiz. I can't go for it. I know. I think so. Okay.
Unnamed area vehicle. Unnamed area vehicle.
Vehicle.
Mm.
Yeah.
Perspective is inside. It's also in. CAD programs. We have Auto CAD and Auto CAD LT.
AutoCAD.
What's the full meaning of AutoCAD LT? Full meaning of AutoCAD LT.
Auto is so.
Auto is automatic, but the CAD, computer aided design, and the LT.
Auto is
There's the LT there. The meaning LT.
AutoCAD is not a GIS application, so.
But they said a program used in digitization technique is CAD. CAD.
This digitization.
You can use the AutoCAD. You can use the
Right. So a very good afternoon. Is it? Yeah. Good morning. Good morning to the institutions that have made it so far. This represents the very final stage. This represents the very final stage of the competition for this year's GIS Day quiz. I understand Presec dropped off. They were in some moment ago. Presec was in. And so they would be joined pretty soon. So what we can do will be to start. So since this is the final stage, we are going to give you questions from human geography, physical geography, and map work. So far, we have done all the basics in GIS, what we need to learn in GIS, what it stands for, the key data demands, the GIS Day, the history behind it, the key personalities who have devoted their times and career life to make GIS Day what it is. What remains appears to be a bit technical and complex, and so we felt that we should not worry you so much to learn about so much, at least at your stage. So, so far, you've given a good account of yourself with respect to your depth and scope of knowledge in GIS, which is good. Congratulations to you all. I have in which particular order the institutions to help us. You can kindly write them down here for me. Right. So whilst we wait for Presec to rejoin, and I hope my technical team will be calling the masters from Presec to ask them to rejoin. So we'll do 2 questions each from each of the sub themes. So human geography, you have 2 questions. Physical geography, 2 questions each per school, and the map work 2, you have 2 questions per school. And I think at the end of the competition, the winner would, the very best will emerge as winner for this competition. So perhaps you can start. We can start with Boko Senior High, and we are beginning with with human geography. So for the first set, you tell me the capital city of this particular country. So I'll mention a country. You mention the capital city, Belarus, Boko. Belarus, Boko. And you have 20 seconds within which to find the answer. You're still within regulation time, Belarus. And I want you to look into the camera, or you can discuss amongst yourselves. I can observe from where I'm seated. You're looking for the capital city of Belarus.
Minsk.
Not long ago, their president was in the news for the bad reasons.
Minsk.
Are you speaking up, Baku?
Yes.
Do you have an answer? You're still within regulation time, please. Baku is unmuted. So can you speak up? Or you can write it down if you need to show it to me. Baku, can you hear me? Baku, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Sorry?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Radio was playing. You mute the microphone. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sure. Okay. My apologies. So yes, but can you take it again? What did you say?
Minsk.
Minsk. That's correct. For Belarus, that is Minsk. That's correct. I think it was from my end. The technology was misbehaving, so it quite wasn't helpful. But at least we managed to make it. So we come to Accra Academy. Presec is trying to rejoin. Accra Academy. Can you tell me the capital city of Albania, another European country? Albania, Accra Academy, Albania. And I want you to look into the camera or be seen to be discussing amongst yourselves, not looking elsewhere. Accra Academy, Albania. Yes, so we'll be discussing, or you should be seen to be looking into my camera or be seen to be discussing amongst yourselves and not looking elsewhere. Accra Academy, you're looking at Albania. You're still within regulation time. Yes. sorry. So the time I'm told is up. It's actually Tirana or Tirana, however you want to pronounce it. That's Albania. Tirana. So let's come to Presec. Presec, if you're in, I need for you to help me with the capital city of Bangladesh. Let's come to Asia, Bangladesh. Bangladesh.
Dhaka.
Dakar, that is correct. That's correct for 3 points. Dakar, we are within Asia. So of course, certainly the capital of Bangladesh is Dhaka. That is correct. That is correct. So let's come to this other part of Asia. It is so close to India, and I'm referring to Pandu Senior High. The country is called Bhutan. Bhutan. Can you help me? The capital town of Bhutan. Capital town of Bhutan.
The country again.
Bhutan. Bhutan. Bhutan.
Timbuktu.
I'm afraid it's Thimphu. It's one tiny country somewhere so close to India. I'm afraid the answer is Thimphu. Right, so let's do one more question in human geography. And then we can now move to physical geography. But before then, let's do one more set of questions in human geography. So we start with Boko Senior High. What is the largest lake in Africa? And I'm testing your knowledge on the African continent. Boko, you're still within regulation time. The largest lake in Africa.
So we can hear you.
What is the largest lake in Africa? You're still within regulation time. Your time is still going. What is the largest lake in Africa?
Lake Victoria.
Yeah, that is Lake Victoria. That's correct. That is Lake Victoria. That's Lake Victoria. It borders Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya, and has a surface area of 26,600 square miles or 68,800 square kilometers. It is indeed the largest lake in Africa. Now let's from Boko, I come to Accra Academy. What is Africa's largest waterfall? Africa's largest waterfall. It is known as the largest waterfall in Africa.
Victoria Falls.
Victoria Falls. That's correct.
That's correct.
That is correct.
That's correct. Exactly.
Yes, that's correct. Kindly mute your microphone when you are done. Accra Academy, kindly mute your microphone when you are done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let's come to Presec. What is Africa's tallest waterfall? The tallest waterfall in Africa?
The Tugela Falls.
The Tugela Falls. That's correct. Presec. That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. Now let's come to Pandu. Where in Africa can we find the lowest point in Africa? The lowest point in Africa. Where can we find it? Pandu. The lowest point in Africa. The lowest point in Africa. Pandu, you are still within your time.
Lake Assal.
Lake Assal, that is correct. Located in the Alpha Triangle in Djibouti. Djibouti lies about 155 meters below sea level. So it is known as the lowest point in Africa. Let we go to Pandu. We are done with the... Oh, okay. All right. So now let's go to physical geography. And I begin with Boko. Boko, when I ask the question, I want to see that you're either discussing amongst yourselves or you're looking at my camera. Don't be looking on your table. I don't know what you have on your table, but I want you to look either into my camera or I see you conversing amongst yourselves. Please, let's do this for our own benefit. So we are attempting physical geography questions, and again we'll do two questions each. This will be the final stage. We'll do two questions each. Formation. Unfortunately, Boko Senior High is gone. Okay, they're back. Thank you so much. They're back. So let's begin with Boko. Boko, the type of rock which is formed when great heat and pressure is applied to pre-existing rock and change their original characteristics is known as what?
Metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic
Sorry?
rock.
Metamorphic rock. That's correct. Rock. That's correct. That's correct. Boko, that's exactly the case. So when you have pressure exerting on existing rock and the great heat conditions, it forms a different or a new output known as the metamorphic rock. That is correct. Let's go to Accra Academy. Accra Academy. Give me one example of a fault-bordered landform. A fault-bordered landform. Any example of a fault-bordered landform, and you are still within regulation time. Accra Academy. A fault-bordered landform.
Mount. Block
Sorry?
mountain. Sorry. Block mountain.
Block. Exactly. So block mountain. That's correct. Mute yourselves now. Yes, great. Thank you so much. So block mountains, rift valleys, hosts are all types or examples of fault-bordered landforms. That's correct, Accra Academy. So we'll move to Presec. Presec Legon. We'll move to Presec Legon. Can you give me one example of a landform produced by faulting? Faulting. When faulting occurs, what type of landform are we likely to see? Yes, Presec. You're still within regulation time.
A rift valley.
Sorry?
A rift valley.
Oh no, it's a plateau. 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 All right, so we move to Pando. Pando, take this one for me. The raised portion or the crest of folded land is known as what? The raised portion or the crest of a folded land is known as what?
Anticline.
Pando, you are still anticline. That is correct. That's correct. Anticline, exactly. That is correct. So let's come to, so that's it. Okay, so another set of questions. And this one around, let me start from Boko once more. Now listen carefully. A long, relatively narrow depression formed by the sinking of a block of land between two or more parallel faults is also known as what?
Rift Valley.
It is, of course, the Rift Valley. It's a Rift Valley. That's correct. So when you have a long, narrow depression that is formed by the sinking of a block of land between two or more faults, indeed, that is a Rift Valley. That's correct for three points. Now, I come to Accra Academy. I want you to listen carefully. I'm going to mention some very prominent mountain ranges or mountains. You tell me the type of mountains that these collection of mountains, the general concept, the general term that we may characterize them by or may call them. So for instance, if you hear names like Andes, the Himalayas, the Rockies, the Atlas Mountains, what type of mountains are we referring to? And this goes to Accra Academy? Yes.
Fold mountain.
They are all fold mountains. That's correct. Yes, Accra Academy, that's correct, for 3 points. Can I note it down for me? Then I move to Presec. I move to Presec. The point in the Earth's crust where the shock or vibration starts during an earthquake is also known as what?
A focus.
The focus, that's correct. Presec, that is exactly correct. That's correct. Now let's come to Pando Secondary. Now listen carefully. The wave with more powerful swash than backwash is called what?
The question again.
The wave with more powerful swash than backwash is also known as what? You're still within regulation time.
Constructive wave.
I heard constructive waves before you said it.
Please, we're discussing it among ourselves.
I heard construction waves before you said it. And I'm disallowing this one. Right. So, are we done with the? No, someone said the answer before the candidate said it, so I'm not taking that.
No, please, we're discussing. I discussed with my friend over here beside me. Please, I didn't. We were
All right, let me
discussing.
ask. I'll ask. Okay. Just prepare to ask a different question altogether. So,
okay,
I'll ask a different question altogether. Okay. The raised part of the sea wave, or the top part of the wave, is called. The raised part of the sea wave, or the top part of the sea wave, is also known as what? That's the regulation time. It's known as a crest. That's correct for 3 points. That's correct for 3 points, and I'll give that to Pando Senior High. Okay, so we'll give ourselves some 2 minutes break. We are resolving some technical issues, and we'll return back. So just stay in the studio All right, so welcome back. Welcome back. My production team and I were doing some behind the scenes confirmation because our attention has been drawn to an obvious mistake on our part. I think Presec, when I asked the question as to a landform produced by faulting, of course, I was expecting plateau, but certainly you are correct that Rift Valley is also formed out of geologic rifting or faulting as well. So yes, we can accept that as a possible answer. So my apologies. I think I erred, and I take full responsibility for that. So would actually give that 3 points to Presec, and then we can continue. So now we go to is it map work? No, we are skipping GIS now because now the GIS it's very, very at a very complicated level. We've exhausted the basic one. So let us do some map work. Let's do some map work. And this, I think I can give you some 30 seconds per question. We are going to do some conversion. We're going to do some calculations. I'll read, and I want you to listen carefully so that after we are done, you can now give me the answer after you're done working it out. So we are beginning with Boko Senior High. Boko Senior High. I want you to convert 2 cm to 1 km, convert 2 cm to 1 km from this into a representative fraction. So in other words, how would you state 2 cm to 1 km in a representative fraction scale format? How do you state that? And that goes to your time begins now. That goes to Boko.
1:50,000.
That is correct. 1:50,000. Boko, that is absolutely correct. 1:50,000. The next question goes to Accra Academy. So I'm sure your pen and materials are ready. So let me read this and listen carefully. Calculate the actual ground distance between Wamfie and Sunyane when the map distance between them is 39.6 cm, 39.6 cm, and the scale of the map is 1:50,000. Calculate the actual ground distance between Wamfie and Sunyane when the map distance between them is 39.6 cm, and the scale of the map is 1:50,000. Are we still within time? I gave them 30 seconds because we are working out. Unfortunately, time is up for Accra Academy. It's actually the ground distance supposed to be 19.8 km. 19.8 km. Kindly mute your microphones. It's 19.8 kilometers. Now let's come to Presec Legon. Presec. Sorry? Are they gone? Okay, right. So let's come to Presec. Calculate the actual ground distance in kilometers between Accra and Kumasi when the map distance between them is 106.6 cm, 106.6 cm, and the scale of the map is 1:50,000. The scale of the map is 1:50,000. The map distance between them is 106.6 cm. What is the actual ground distance? And it's still within regulation time. We are using 30 seconds for this.
$53.3 kilometers.
53.3 kilometers. That's correct. Presec. That is exactly correct. 53.3 kilometers. That is the actual ground distance in kilometers between Accra and Kumasi when the map distance between them is 106.6 cm and the scale of the map is 1:50,000. So that's 3 points for Presec. Now let's come to Pando Senior High. Pando Senior High. Calculate the area of a map with length 23.7 cm and width 21.9 cm If the scale of the map is 1:50,000, calculate the area of a map with a length 23.7 cm and width 21.9 cm if the scale of the map is 1:50,000. We are still within regulation time. It appears, okay, Pano is back. Okay, it looks like you're
9.5 km.
Can you repeat yourself, please?
259.5.
No, I'm afraid it's 100. All right, it's 129.8 kilometers square. So you didn't get that correct. It's 129.8 kilometers square. 129 kilometers square. So for the next part of the map work, I'm going to share with you my screen. I'm going to share my screen with you. And I'm going to share with you a map. And then we are going to use that to answer some questions. So I'll share the entire screen, right?
Yeah, so select this.
Okay.
My internet is off.
Okay, and then I need to project this. Right. Can you all see? Can you all see my screen? Can you unmute and let me know if you can see my screen? Boko, can you see my screen?
The down part is covered by comments. Okay, it's okay. It's now see.
Okay, great. So Boko can see Accra Academy. Can you see the map as projected?
Yes, we can.
That is great. Thank you. Presec, Legon.
That is great. Thank you. Presec, Legon, thanks.
Yes, please, you can see.
All right, great. Pando Senior.
All right, great.
Pando Senior High. Can you indicate if you can see?
Yes, you can see, but there's something covering one of the keys.
What the railway line is?
No, please. On the legend, there's something covering one of the keys.
Okay, stop sharing. Okay, so okay, let me put it somewhere here. Can you now see the legend?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Right, great. So let us begin with Boku Senior High. The feature, and I'm not sure how much time I should give because we need to find time to identify. Okay, so give ourselves 40 seconds. Okay, so when you have 40 seconds to respond after you've studied the map. So Boku Senior High, the feature marked P on the map is or an what? So how would you call the feature marked P? Boko Senior High. You'll be searching for the feature labeled as P. And how do you call that?
Inselbeck.
No, I'm sorry, it's not an Inselbeck. That should be a null. That should be a null. That should be a null. And it's found in the eastern part of the map. So somehow you identify that's so let's come to Accra Academy. Accra Academy, the landform that lies to the west of the railway line from north to south is a good example of or an what?
Ridge.
It's a ridge, that's correct.
It's a ridge, that's correct.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Yes.
Academy. So mute yourselves now. It's indeed a ridge, that's correct. Now let's come to Presec Legon. The contour interval on the map is what? What's the contour interval on the map? Presec Legon.
It's 50.
It's 50, 50 what?
50 meters.
50 meters, that's correct. 50 meters, that's correct. So it's called no, it's 50 meters. 50, the contours in meters, that's what. So that's, yeah, so that's for the scale. Right, so yes, that's correct. That is 50 meters, that's correct, per sec. Now, so we come to Pando Senior High, Alade, and I am sure you can see Alade. It's a good example of which type of settlement.
Nuclear settlement.
Unfortunately, it's not a nuclear settlement. It is a nodal where several transport networks are meeting, and you have that settlement over there. It's a meeting place called a nodal settlement, or a nodal town, as it were. Am I exhausted all the map questions? Okay, on the maps, right? Okay, so
Sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, please, I said noodle.
No, you said nuclear.
I said noodle. Noodle.
I can play back what, but I'm not taking that. I heard you loud and clear. You said nuclear, and I explained nodal, and I went forward ahead
No,
to.
please. It's I pronounce noodle.
All right, don't worry. You are playing back to see, to hear, to listen. So I would exit. I'll stop sharing the map, at least for now, and then get back to my production team, and we'll make a judgment out of that. So just yes. So welcome back. All right, so welcome back. We have played back. Alade is a nodal, not a nuclear. You said nuclear, and I heard it loud and clear. We played back. So Pando, your protest is without merit. It is. We have been recorded. We can always play back. We just played back, and the production team, myself, we've confirmed that you said nuclear, not nodal settlements. And I will please crave your indulgence if indeed you said something. I mean, it's just too short a time to suffer amnesia, to forget, and to sort of question whether I actually heard you or not heard you. I heard you loud and clear, and I'll not take this again. If you dare question me and you don't have any basis, I may be forced to disqualify you. Let's respect ourselves in that regard. Thank you all so much. Now, let me show the map again. I have one more set of questions to ask. Am I still sharing my screen?
No.
Okay, so did I stop sharing? Okay, so I come here. Am I still sharing my screen? Okay, sorry, did I stop sharing? Okay, so I come here. Okay, so I have just shared the map again. Let me wait for a short while whilst it streams live so that all of us can see. So I have just shared the map again. Let me. Boko Senior High, please can you confirm that you can see the map?
Yes, sir.
All right, sure. Thank you so much. Accra Academy, can you see the map?
Yes, sir.
All right, sure. Thank you so much. Presec Legon, can you see the map?
Presec Legon, can you see the
Presec Legon, you can see, right?
Yes, please.
All right, sure. Thank you so much. And then finally, Pando Senior High, can you see?
Yes, sir.
All right, sure. That's great. So let's take this set of questions from Boko. Boko, by what mode of transport would someone traveling from Ilo arrive at Aso? If someone is traveling from Ilo to Aso, which mode of transport would most likely be used by that fellow? You are still within regulation time.
Footpath.
It's a footpath. Yes, that's correct. They'll come, they'll trudge, they'll do the journey on foot. So that's a footpath. That's correct. For 3 points for Boko. Accra Academy. The triangle with a dot located at the extreme southeastern part of the map is what? What does it represent? And that goes to Accra Academy.
Trigonometrical station.
It's a trigonometrical station. That's correct. Right. So now mute yourselves now. That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. Let's come to Presec Legon. Presec Legon. The occupation of the people at the northern part of the map is likely to be what? The occupation of the people at the northern part of the map is likely to be what?
Lumbering.
Lumbering, that is correct. Lumbering, that's correct. That's correct for Presec. Kindly add 3 points to Presec. And then the very final question goes to Pando Senior High. The feature marked J on the map is a or an what? What does the feature marked J on the map? What does it represent?
A pass.
It is indeed a pass. That's correct. That is correct for 3 points. That's correct. Okay. So I have final sets of questions. Yes, and I can take it from any dimension. That'll be the very final round, and we'll begin with Boko. Boko, I'm going to ask you to indicate for me the name, the capital city of the following country. So when I mention the country, you tell me its capital city. Can you tell me Cuba? Cuba. And you should be looking into the camera or discuss amongst yourselves.
Havana.
Havana, that's correct. That is absolutely correct. And it's actually in the South American continent. So then do this for me, Accra Academy. Chile. Chile is also in South America. Chile. What is the capital town? and you should discuss amongst yourselves or be looking to my camera. I don't want any support systems behind the scenes. Are we still within? Are we still within revision?
Are we still within revision? No.
Yes. So look into the camera. Unfortunately, your time is up. Chile's capital is Santiago. Santiago. Right, so let's come to Africa. And that goes to Presec, the capital city of Eritrea.
Asmara.
The national capital of Eritrea, or the capital town of Eritrea.
Asmara.
That's correct for 3 points, Presec. That's correct, Presec, for 3 points, Asmara. Right. So then, let's ask Pandu, right? Pandu, another African city called Djibouti. What's the capital city? The name of the capital city?
Djibouti.
Yes, exactly. It's called what?
Djibouti.
Yes, it's called Djibouti. It's also called Djibouti. The city is also called Djibouti. That's correct for another 3 points. All right. So I think I can bring the competition to a close and consult with my production team. Yes, give us some few minutes. We'll put our scores together and then return back to you. So just bear with us. We'll join you in a little while. Whilst we put our scores together.
Hello, my name is Jack Benjamin, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the GIS Day in 2021. This is our 21st anniversary for this day, and its purpose is really grounded in the idea of sharing the great work that GIS professionals and our technology in our field is bringing to the world. Now, it's an amazing thing that happens every year. Thousands and thousands of people get together. They form little groups. They bring their maps. They show what they're doing, and it lays down good footprints. My good friend Will I Am says it's a time to soak it up, like with a sponge, and rinse it out. Not only learn today, but also share what you learn to other people. Because GIS is growing very rapidly, as we know. It's impacting almost every field on the planet. And nobody hardly knows about it compared to things like, social media and the like. So this is an opportunity to share with children, showing them these professional activities that we do with maps and geographic data, and introduce also to executives and people who really don't know about our world, the whole idea of the geographic approach. Now, this approach is all about integrating layers of information, seeing things holistically, communicating more effectively with maps. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for organizing this event, but also thank you very much for coming. Many of you are holding it in a virtual environment, which I'm really excited to see. While we miss being together, this new media is allowing us to expand even greater the reach of our great work, your great work really, using geography and GIS to make a better world. So thank you. Enjoy the day.
Right, so Congratulations to you all four competing schools. You've done yourselves good. At the end of the competition, based on the scores that I have here, Boku Senior High had 21 points. Boku Senior High had 21 points. Accra Academy had 15 points. Accra Academy had 15 points. Prosec Legon had 24 points. 24 points. Pando Senior High had 15 points. And so on the basis of the scoreline, Prosec Legon emerges as the overall winner, followed by Boku Senior High School with 21 points. And then there is a tie. We actually would need to break that tie for the third slot. And that would be between Accra Academy and Pando Senior High. So Pando Senior High and Accra Academy, you both scored 15 scores apiece. So what I'm going to do will be to ask a question. If you get it correct, you are in. If you get it wrong, you are out. Right? And we'll give you 15 seconds to reflect on the question and then give an answer. So we'll give you 15 seconds. If you get it correct, bless your soul. If you get it wrong, you are out. So you're looking for the third place winner. Right, so it is a country of interesting events, and I'm talking about South Africa. It's a country that has 3 different capitals. Can you tell me, is it Pando or Prosec? Sorry, Accra Academy. Accra Academy. The judicial capital town of South Africa. And time starts now.
Pretoria.
Unfortunately, that is incorrect. Okay, that's incorrect. So let me try with Pando Senior High. Let me try with Pando Senior High. Can you tell me the name of the world's highest waterfall? The world's highest waterfall.
The Denmark Street.
Unfortunately, you are incorrect. It's the Angel Waterfall in Venezuela. That's also incorrect. So let's try again. Let's try again until someone gets it correct and someone loses out. And this question goes to Accra Academy. What is the most spoken language in the world?
Mandarin.
Mandarin or Chinese.
Mandarin or Chinese.
Of course, that is absolutely correct.
That is absolutely correct.
Can you mute yourselves? Can you mute yourselves? So let's go to Pando. Let's go to Pando. Pando, this is your question. What is the largest island in the world? The largest island in the world. Pando, you are still within regulation time.
Greenland.
Greenland is correct. Greenland is correct. Greenland is correct. I think it's getting heated up. It's getting very, very interesting. And that is the beauty of the competition. So I come back to Accra Academy. The administrative capital of South Africa is called what?
Pretoria.
Pretoria, that is correct.
Pretoria, that's correct.
Yes, that is correct. So kindly mute yourselves now. That's correct. That's correct. Now let's come to Pando. Which continent on Earth is the most multilingual? Which country?
Africa.
Africa, that is a continent deemed to be the most multilingual. That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. So let us come to Accra Academy. What is the name of the longest river in South America?
Amazon. Oh, Amazon.
The Amazon. Yes,
Amazon
the
River.
Amazon. That's correct. Yes, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I'm unable to see the face of the other contestants I think to the right of the one in the middle. Yes, I need to see. Yes, I need to see all of you, your faces in the camera. If you need to discuss, I should get that. We should do that. So that's correct to yes. So let's go to Pando Senior High. What is the second largest country in the world?
Please, in terms of what?
The second largest country in the world.
Canada.
Canada, that's correct. That is correct. That is correct. I'll create indulgence of my studio assistants to remain to give me some peace of mind to work. Right, so let's continue. Let's continue until we break the tie. Right, so we go to Presec. Accra Academy. My apologies. We go to Accra Academy. We go to Accra Academy. So let's see. Where can we find in which ocean can we find a country called Mauritius? Mauritius. In your time, you are still within regulation time. You are muted, Accra Academy.
Pacific.
Unfortunately, it's the Indian
Pacific.
Unfortunately, the Indian Ocean.
It's the Indian Ocean. So can you mute yourselves? Let's go to Pando. Let's go to Pando. Let's go to Pando. Right. So if Mauritius is found on the Indian Ocean, where can we find Papua New Guinea? Where can we find Papua New Guinea?
The Indian Ocean.
Unfortunately, it is the Pacific Ocean or the Oceania. The Pacific Ocean or Oceania. You also got it wrong. So it means that we still need to continue. It's getting interesting, but at the end of the day, there will still be so let's do some physical geography questions. And this goes to Accra Academy. Accra Academy, if you can help me with this. What is the smallest planet on the Earth solar system? The smallest planet. Francis.
Mercury.
Yes, Mercury, that is correct.
Yes, Mercury, that is correct. That's correct.
Okay, so let me come to Pando. Pando, which planet is closest to the Earth?
Venus.
Venus, that is correct. That is Venus, that's correct. So, Accra Academy, there's a planet that is known to have the largest number of natural satellites or moons. Which planet am I referring to?
Saturn.
Unfortunately, it's not Saturn, it's
Unfortunately,
Jupiter.
it's not Saturn, it's Jupiter.
It has 63 moons. Jupiter has 63 moons. So let's go to Pando. Pando, how many moons do we find on planet Mars? And you look into the camera or you discuss amongst yourselves. How many moons?
2 moons.
It's 2 moons. All right, so that's 2 moons. Right, so at the end of what appears to be the clash of the Titans, it's obvious that we now have successfully been able to break the tie, such that we've declared Presec as winner, followed by Boku Senior High and Pando Senior High emerged third, and Accra Academy emerged fourth. Congratulations to all of you participating schools. We are so proud of you and wish you the very best. Further instructions will be given from Professor Berema to your tutors. Until then, wish you the very best and stay blessed. Bye for now.
Hello, my name is Jack Benjamin, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the GIS Day in 2021. This is our 21st anniversary for this day, and its purpose is really grounded in the idea of sharing the great work that GIS professionals and our technology in our field is bringing to the world. Now, it's an amazing thing that happens every year. Thousands and thousands of people get together, they form little groups, they bring their maps, they show what they're doing, and it lays down good footprints. My good friend Will I Am says it's a time to soak it up, like with a sponge, and rinse it out. Not only learn today, but also share what you learn to other people. Because GIS is growing very rapidly, as we know. It's impacting almost every field on the planet. And nobody hardly knows about it compared to things like social media and the like. So this is an opportunity to share with children, showing them these professional activities that we do with maps and geographic data, and introduce also to executives and people who really don't know about our world, the whole idea of the geographic approach. Now this approach is all about integrating layers of information, seeing things holistically, communicating more effectively with maps. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for organizing this event, but also thank you very much for coming. Many of you are holding it in a virtual environment, which I'm really excited to see. While we miss being together, this new media is allowing us to expand even greater the reach of our great work, your great work really, using geography and GIS to make a better world. So thank you. Enjoy the day.
Okay.
Sorry.
Baku. Hello, Baku.
You see,
Baku SHS.
they will prepare one.
The network.
No, network is on. It's on. Let me go and finish this. Then we'll meet and then. Can you order some?